Hi fellow YouTubers, this is Brian, Harry's on the camera, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to do an assay and not have to do it yourself. And we're going to show you one of our assays that we're going to turn in at the end of the video, and then there'll be another video showing the results. But first I got to explain why we need to do an assay. Ore goes in the jaw crusher, comes out the jaw crusher, goes down the ramp, goes into the ball mill, becomes very fine powdery sand, spills down this white pipe fitting across a magnetic separator, and winds up in the tank at the bottom. The magnetic portion we scoop off. We save till the end, and then that's all iron, and it's also 75% of our gold is on that iron. We take that, we put it back through again, so it gets ground down extra fine. Then everything winds up in the leach tank. We'll do a whole nother video on that, but that's not what we're talking about today. The problem we're having is, remember I said 75% of that gold is in the iron magnetic portion. There's another 25% that I really don't want to throw away. It went somewhere. It's got to be in the tails. We've got 4 tanks for this to settle out. The first tank obviously goes into the leach tank. The second, third, and fourth tanks are for settling out the slimes, which is mostly like clay. Problem is, we don't know what's in that slimes. We've been hearing stories, especially from Hard Rock University YouTube videos, that the slimes do contain quite a bit of gold. So we're going to find out. We're going to have somebody else do the assay. We're going to show you how to get it to them and how to prepare it, what needs to happen, how easy it is, how cheap it is. It's basically the only way, unless you're good at assaying, this is about the only way to figure out what's in your ore. A lot of ore, you will never see a speck of gold unless it's very rich ore. Mount Baker, if you watch their videos, you will get to see some of the gold filtering off on their shaker table. That's about the only time you really see the gold in their process. And let's cut. We're going to move to the next tank and take a look. Okay, this is tank number 4. This is our final settling tank before the water gets pumped off the top of this tank and goes to the jaw crusher, which then flushes the sand into the ball mill round and round. We had a cold spell a few months ago. This tank was full of water. It froze solid, cracked the bottom of the tank. The water was clear on top, so we know everything settled out and the water drained out. Left behind this massive slimes, clay. So we're going to take a sample of that. We're going to dry it out and get it ready for the assayer. Okay. Okay, so we got more than enough right here for an assay. Now we're going to dry it out. Okay, this is slimes that have been dried out. Pretty much no sand in it. It's all clay, super fine dust. This is from tank number 4. That means it settled out 4 times before it made it to this point. So we're going to turn the heat up. We're going to steam off this clay, which is basically dust. Then we're going to package it up and send it to the assayer. A little tip: use a hot plate that you find on Amazon. Get a cheap one. You're going to tear them up. They're going to get spilled on. They're going to have issues. Put them inside of a photographic tray. You're going to be eventually, if you do well at this, you're going to have thousands of dollars inside one of these dishes someday, and the dish is going to break and crack. You are going to want to have another dish under it, or at the very least a tray under the whole thing, so when an accident, foam over, whatever happens, you will be able to catch all of your valuable solutions, and you'll be able to process them again. Okay, it's starting to dry out. You can see that it's not so much like sticky clay anymore. Now it's like sticky sand. So we're gonna keep it going. Break it up as much as you can. We're probably only going to need a quarter of this. You don't want to do it twice, so for the assayer we're going to use, we only need 1 cup. We're going to use an assayer that's located up in Jamestown, Colorado. If you don't know where that is, it's west of Boulder. Everything west of Boulder is basically a mining district. That mining district runs all the way up into Blackhawk, Central City, Idaho Springs, Georgetown. It goes up over the Continental Divide back into Breckenridge, and then it goes up into Copper Mountain, goes over into Fairplay. Kind of disappears there for a little while. Going down towards Monarch Pass, there's some mines. But then if you keep going after that, you wind up down in San Juans. And we'll be making some videos about a special trip we hope to do this summer. Little bit of luck, we're going to ride a steam train and do some gold panning all on the same day. And we're going to have to ride the steam train to get to where the gold panning is. That's a future video. Okay, as you can see, the steaming has just now stopped. Now I'm sifting it down. These are clumps of clay, clumps of slime, dust. I don't want them to be clumpy for the assayer, so I'm going to break them apart so that we get a nice homogeneous mix. You can see how this is not steam, this is dust. So we're just sifting it out, making it all nice and homogeneous, which means well mixed. Our assayer will like us for doing this. He might even give us a discount. Also, we see a few little twigs and leaves in there. Get rid of them. Remember, that's not steam. That's dust. So I probably want to turn my fan on. But as you can see, that lumpy clay is now a pretty good powder. Okay, these are, if it fits at chips boxes, this box is $10.40 to ship. And very easy to deal with. Very simple. It's got a piece of tape. You'll see that in a little bit. We'll pull that. Okay, everything we do has got to fit in here. I think I can get 3 cups into that. In baggies. I'm going to use my business cards to identify our assay or once identifying cards inside the bags. Remember, tank 1 goes straight to the leach tank. We don't have to worry about assaying that. So the parts that we're possibly going to just throw away, throw back in the mountain, we need to know what's in it before we throw it away. According to our friends at Hard Rock University, we've got gold in our tailings, so we're going to find out. Okay, important. U.S. Postal Service is not known for being really good with fragile things. You got dirt in a plastic bag. What do you think is going to happen when they get it? It will not be in the plastic bag. So, reinforce the box all the way around. Now I can just slide my package, slide my bags in, and I'm good to go. Okay, now we're going to take a sample from tank 3. You can see we use a pump up on bricks, give it a chance to settle, pump it up this pipe back to tank 4, much larger, much more time to settle. Water comes back into the jaw crusher a lot cleaner. We're checking for gold that may be left in the slimes. There's still water in this. And there's hardly any slimes in here. Pick up as much as I can get. Pick up these slimes from right around the inlet where the slurry comes in. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a 1-inch flexible pipe that dumps in right here. Now that's going to bubble and flutter and make a hell of a mess. So I'm going to go
put a cover on it. Yeah.
I'm going to get a plastic plate and cover it. Otherwise it's going to be everywhere. This is definitely playing with mud. Okay, as soon as you see steam vents starting to pop up and they don't close in again, turn the heat off. Start stirring. Otherwise you're going to blow up this dish. You're going to have liquid on 300 degree heat against this dish won't survive. So turn the heat off, start stirring, and as you see underneath it's already a dry paste. Now if you get a spoonful of liquid and put it on there, it's going to be a big problem. You're going to wind up blowing up your dish. So turn off your heat once those little steam holes start showing up, and give it a stir. It'll dry out quick enough from this point. As you see, it's starting to get pretty lumpy, pretty thick. It didn't take long to get to this point. About 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this up to maximum since this is drying out. We'll drive off the rest of the water. If you're wondering what happened to that first sample out of tank 4, here it is. As you can see, it's powder. We're letting it cool down. It holds heat for a while. Make a great hand warmer. We're going to let that cool down just a little bit more before we put it in the bag. Do not get this stuff too hot because you probably got a lot of sulfides in it. Sulfides carry arsenic and other wonderful things you won't want. Mercury. Break it up as much as you can. Your assayer will appreciate your work. Might even give you a discount. You get it down this fine every time. That's good to go. That's good to be assayed. Your assayer has to break it down into super fine dust. Then it has to be dry before you can even start an assay on it. That's the way our assayer wants it. All wrapped up, and we're going to put this in another bag. He wants about a cup. There's your cup. And next tank is coming out of tank 3. Hopefully that's cool enough that it's not going to blow or melt the bag. If it does, we'll know in a moment. About a cup. Put the ID card in the bag. One more to go. And yeah, that's pretty hot.
Still hot, huh?
It's been, what, half an hour?
Oh, a good half an hour, yeah.
And that's still pretty hot, so we're going to let that set out for a while. Okay, the last tank. This is tank number 2. We're kind of doing them in the reverse. There's quite a bit more in here, as there should be. It just comes right out of a raw ore tank, goes through a 1-inch pipe, fills up in here. So there's going to be a little more in this tank than that tank. So I'm going to scrape up a little. Yeah, that worked out. Drain off the water. Gonna do one more scoop. That's all it should need. We're gonna get this scoop from over by the input. Yeah, that looks more like our regular ore. A little sandy. We got plenty for this one. Okay. Turn that up full blast. Put that on there. Show you the consistency starting out. And we'll be right back in about 30 minutes. Okay. Now we got tank 3, tank 4, tank 2. Tank 2 is the very first tank coming out of the magnetic separator. Tank 2 is the main run. Tank 1 is the main run. That goes straight to the leach tank. Tank 2 is the first chance it gets to settle. And then after that it settles 2 more times before the water gets recirculated. So we put a card inside each one. That's what the assayer wants. Now will everything fit? I think we got too much air in these things. So we're gonna let the air out. I think this will work better. 1, 2, 3, just right. I have to add my personal information in there. They're going to email me back with the information. So now we're going to put on the screen the address of where this goes. And you can look up the website for this assayer, and we're going to see how it turns out. Okay.